Hello. Hey y'all. Hi. Okay, that was cringe. Okay. Raz. Okay. So what we're gonna do today is I don't know. I feel bloated a bit. Am I bloated? Okay, nonetheless, what I was thinking for this video, I wanted to learn something new today. Or revise. Or do whatever the fuck to stimulate my brain to do something productive. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It will be messy. I have my little notebook here that I was keeping for some really minor stuff. Okay, so why the fuck was it used when it was in my purse? Okay, so I guess people really like to fuck my things up, huh? Okay. Well, then let's find other things to write on. We have this one, but that was my gift for my mother's birthday, and she never really used it. And I don't really need to use it. Also, what's up? So I don't think I need that one either. Okay. So let's think. Let's think quickly before my will runs out. Ooh, some notebooks. Okay. Okay, we can work with that. Jeff? We'll use this. Someone was really indecisive on what should they use this notebook for. It says Histoire, Géographie, then Français, it's just tapped out, and then again Français. URSS, Union des Républiques Socialistes Soviétiques. Someone wanted to learn the history of what do you call it? URSR, right? Soviet Union. Yikes. Oh, I know. That's the notebook from my mother's boyfriend's sister, because she gave me some stuff because she didn't need it, I guess. Because she got married and apparently she didn't want to. Ooh, what's in here? Séquence 4, Annie Erna, dans ce récit autobiographique, le narratrice Annie raconte ce rapport conflictuel. Может быть, просто конфликант. Мне кажется, здесь просто добавили несколько ненужных вещей, ну ладно. Avec son père à l'époque de l'adolescence. Ce tableau sociologique intéressant, l'auteur montre clairement que le fait... Ok. Le père d'Annie montre que le travail n'est pas votre vrai travail. What the fuck are you talking about? I know this book. That's bullshit. It's not in my handwriting. Who wrote this? Her father died in that book. What the fuck are you talking about? The whole book starts with his funeral. Yes, after that, we learn a bit more about his, I don't know, his life. And what he was teaching her, his daughter, I guess, but... Actually, yeah, it makes sense. He was observing some sociological differences between his times and new times. So yeah, but whatever. We were going through the book in like what, in quatrième? So what? Okay, I'm just gonna use that as a number for ugly studying, as they say. It's a term for studying, but uglier. Because people really like to just make everything cute. Not learn, but make everything cute. I don't think that's the right strategy. You need to learn. Not draw stars. Near the title of every chapter. Okay. Okay, so we have a red pen. And I don't know what subject are we gonna go through yet. It's what does it have that? But okay, I don't know yet. But I was thinking maybe I should just read a book in French. I don't know, or go through the time. How do you call it? Conjugaison. How do you call it? Okay, whatever. I just need to do something with myself, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm more inclined to read a book. Maybe I downloaded Madame Bovary in French, but I'm not sure. If not that, I have Les Miserables. The dead end. No, it's in Russian. Fuck Russian. And where are my books? Nowhere to be found. Actually, they're somewhere up there, but I don't really want to ruin that structure. It's really fragile. Okay, we just need to do something. Maybe math. But I need my notebooks to do math. Oh! I don't, I don't even have any curriculums or anything. Nothing. Or how do you call it? Like the list of things that you're gonna learn through the premiere. Oh! You know what? I'm just... No, I can't. I wanted to do a lesson in Duolingo, even though I hate it with my guts. But I still do it because it's better than nothing, you know? And my stomach hurts for some reason. What do I do? Maybe there is something in that little bag. Oh! Mm. Well, that's my writing, so that's fine. Okay. I have my measurements here. And, oh my god! I have a list to learn! Like, dead ass. Titled, Things to Learn ASAP. The fabrics. The quality and brevity. Okay. The brands. Bags. Everything that's not fully necessarily to have. Jewelry also. With an exclamation mark. And in parentheses. The places where wealthy hang out. Brands, brands, brands. To think about philosophy. Different направления. That's how I wrote it. Authors. Первоисточники. In parentheses. Behaviorism. Okay. Art. Everything about art. And literature, I guess. Wines too. Especially vines. Wines. Okay. Bullshit. Why did I write that? Why did I want to learn that? And what was going through my mind? The fabrics, seriously? You want to learn about fabrics? No, my god, you're gonna learn math. And everything else. И хорошо, и мои, measurements. Талия 70 сантиметров, бюст 86 сантиметров и жопа. Я реально написал жопа. Жопа 88 сантиметров. И самое большое это жопа, оказывается. Ну, вообще правда. У меня весь жир в жопе. Я об этом говорил 100 раз. И не перестану повторяться. У меня весь жир хранится в жопе. И в ляжках. Поэтому спасибо, природа, за то, что весь жир как-то внутрь, туда кромляешь. But nonetheless, maybe we'll need that. I don't know. I need a book. Or I need my notebook. I can't do anything. Let me see. Fermeture de mon lycée sur la période estivale. Go to hell. How am I supposed to revise stuff? Because there's a lot of things I could use, especially my studying. And they just closed it for the time period. I don't know what to say. I'm actually getting pissed. I'm actually pissed. Because the box is on the fucking bottom of the pyramid. And I can't do anything about it. What the fuck? Андрюш, я покладу його на низ, тому що воно тобі зараз не треба. Да треба мені воно зараз. Як я маю вчитися? Мене що, телекінез? Ugh. Okay, maybe there's something I can find on the internet. Or maybe I have a lot of things that I've saved on TikTok. How to prepare for a test you just learned. How to be 3 books to become disgustingly, educated. Study less, get higher grades. Back to school must-haves. Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, looks like you're going back to school soon, but you don't have any school supplies yet.
Oh, no, that's about supplies. Okay. Что изучить, когда скучно? Давайте. Стенография. No, thank you. Киригами. No, thank you. Судоку. No, thank you. Скалолазание. Well, the walls are high enough. But I don't think they have any bumps that I can jump over. Основа астрономии. I like astronomy, but not that much. To spend my time, my dear time, that is specifically established for this agenda, for astronomy. Okay, well, let's learn English then, because that's the only thing that I have established in mind. Because someone wrote in public, in the group chat, that what version of a book we're supposed to buy. And I haven't bought it yet. Still. But we're in a process, I guess. I always do everything last minute. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? That book is hard as fuck. So we're gonna just try to find words we don't understand. And then maybe do some little reviews of every chapter, or maybe of every, I don't know, block of text, as we used to do in our English classes. But more interesting. So, they finished with preface, but I'm still gonna reread it, okay? So, a preface to a play, let's highlight preface, seems generally to be considered as a kind of closed prologue in which, if this piece has been successful, the author solicits, I guess that means establishes, that indulgence, I feel like indulgence is like reaction or investment into the piece, from the reader which he had before experienced from the audience. That's a really interesting structure of the sentence, and I still trying to figure out where does it end and where does it start. But okay, so a preface to a play seems generally to be considered as a kind of closer prologue in which, I'm gonna skip that, the author solicits that indulgence from the reader, which they had before experience from the audience. But then we have two dots. How do you call two dots? Fuck, where's my stuff? I can just go look what two dots is called. But now all of my books and notebooks are there. In the back of everything. At least we have grains. And bread. Okay. But as the scope, whatever that means, as the scope and immediate object of a play is to please a mixed assembly in representation, whose judgment in a theater at least is decisive. Is at least decisive, maybe. Its degree of reputation is usually as determined as public. Okay, I get that. Reputation is usually as determined as public. So that means that reputation is already established. As much established as its publicity. Next. Before it can be prepared for the cooler tribunal of the study. Not sure about this word. Thus, any further solicitude, just gonna note that, on the part of the writer becomes unnecessary, at least, if not an intrusion. Well, now I have to see what solicitude is. Sorry. Это забота, внимательность и беспокойство. Okay. See, I can be productive if I have material to work with, okay? I'm not dumb. I'm just restricted. Next. Thus any further solicitude, so worry, attention on the part of the writer becomes unnecessary, at least, if not an intrusion. So, you don't care less about what people think about the piece, I guess. And if the piece has been condemned in the performance, condemned maybe like damned, like done for. We'll check that in a minute. I fear an address to the closet, like an appeal to posterity. Fucking god. My B2 is not handling that at all. Posterity is constantly regarded as the procrastination of a suit, from a consciousness of the weakness of the cause. Oh my god! Shut up! Get to the point! Get to the fucking point! What do you want to say? Honestly, it feels like if I was about to write something just to appear more smart and intelligent, as I actually am. That is bullshit. It's just a bunch of words. The procrastination of a suit. Suit is something that suits you. Like clothes. Or maybe something that you feel close to. That fits your personality or your view on the things in life. On things in life, sorry. So, procrastination of a suit, for me, it's just a bunch of words. And then from a consciousness of the weakness of the cause. So the cause is the weakness of the consciousness. So an outcome of something is regarded as a weakness to our consciousness. So what comes out makes us weaker. Is that what you want to say? From these considerations, the following comedy would certainly have been submitted to the reader without any further introduction that it had in the representation, but that its success has probably been founded on a circumstance which the author is informed has now before attended a theatrical trial, and which, consequently, ought not to pass unnoticed. Okay, so what I got from this paragraph is that this piece is new, so you might not like it. There could be some mistakes. And it might be raw, and it might be not to your liking. So take that into consideration when you see that piece to play. You could say it in 3 sentences. If you wanted to be posh about it, you know? That's just dragging. You're just dragging and dragging your thought to the point that it becomes like the biggest snake in the world. But okay, whatever. Fucking intestine. Okay. I need scarcely add. So, I need to be a bit careful when I say that. The circumstance alluded to. I know what is alluded, but I need to recheck that later. Sorry. I need to scarcely add that the circumstance alluded to was the withdrawing of the piece to remove those imperfections in the first representation which were too obvious to escape reprehension, and too numerous to admit of a hasty correction. So yeah, he just says it's a bullshit. It's nothing. It's bad. So if you criticize it, I get that. That's what he wanted to say, I guess. But that sentence is just, oh, pure hell. There are few writers, I believe, who, even in the fullest conscience of error, do not wish to palliate the faults which they acknowledge. The word palliate is really interesting. I actually will check it like that, in yellow, because I really like that word, palliate. So, and however thrilling the performance, maybe how good the performance, no. Okay, whatever. However thrilling the performance, or thrilling, bullshit, to second their confession of its deficiencies by whatever plea seems at least disgraceful to their ability. Oh my god, my brain is already malfunctioning. I cannot read that. Ugh. But I guess that's a good exercise, I guess. I guess. A good exercise. But oh my god. I do not have that much time to fucking splash everything to pieces like that. That would take too much time. Okay, so there are a few writers who do not wish to palliate the faults which they acknowledge. You could just cut. Just cut it. Cut the water out. You know? Cut it out. That's what I do. Oh my god, there's not even straight. Oh my god. But yeah, it's evening. Okay. Облегчать, смягчать, покрывать, временно облегчать. Okay, so it's make a disease or its symptoms less severe or unpleasant without removing the cause. I like it. Palliate. You know, the clock is right twice a day, so I guess go for it. And however thrilling the performance, yeah, also, what is thrilling? Thrilling. Пустяковый. А, окей. Незначительный. Thrilling. Незначительный. So I guess this preface is all about making your piece seem like a total waste of everyone's time to avoid any critique in the future, right? Right. I'm gonna look out for that. In the present instance, it cannot be said to amount either to candor or modesty in me. Whatever the hell that means. to acknowledge an extreme inexperience and want of judgment on matters in which, without guidance from practice or spur from success, a young man should scarcely boast of being an adept. So he does want to be guided. So I guess this piece is all about finding out what people like and projecting his artwork to other people in order to seek critique. Okay. If it be said that under such disadvantages no one should attempt to write a play, I must beg leave to dissent from the position. While the first point of experience that I have gained on the subject is a knowledge of the candor and judgment with which an impartial public distinguishes between the errors of inexperience and incapacity, and the indulgence which it shows even to a disposition to remedy and defects of either. Yapping just to yap. I hate that guy. I hate that guy. Seriously, if you're that scared to, I don't know, take some opinions other than yours, then just don't publish it at all. But I don't know the full story and I haven't seen the story yet, which irritates me as fuck, as you might see. but let me try to understand that sentence, the last sentence. If it be said that under such disadvantages I must beg leave to dissent from the position. Dissent from the position. Interesting. Let me search that up. Dissent from the position. Не согласен с позицией. Я. Hey! Oh my fucking god, I hate TikTok! Oh my god, it just cut off my audio. Hello! Jeez. Well, the first one of experience that I have gained on the subject is acknowledging the contour and judgment. What the fuck is contour? Okay, I don't care. I don't care. It's the first fucking page. Go! It were unnecessary to enter into any further extenuation of what was thought exceptionable in this play, but that it has been said that the managers should have prevented some of the defects before its appearance to the public, and in particular the uncommon length of the piece as represented the first night. Okay, so he critiques his managers that they didn't cut his play. That it's not his fault that he wrote it that long. So he basically just gives responsibility to other people. Okay, Morin. It were an ill return for the most liberal and gentlemanly conduct on their side to suffer any censure to rest where none was deserved. Okay, so it was censored. Hurry in writing has long been exploded as an excuse for an author. However, in the dramatic line, it may happen that both an author and a manager may wish to fill a chasm. A chasm. Bill. Bill, тихо. Bill, иди сюда. Bill, иди сюда. He can't bark. He can't bark. Bill. Bill, тихо. 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 Тихо, я знаю, что плохо, но тихо. However, in the dramatic line, it may happen that both an author will... Bill, хватит! Билл! Иди сюда. Окей, под руку мне будет здесь, ты сейчас лезть. Fill a chasm in the entertainment of the public with a hastiness not altogether culpable. I'm already thinking of a word, culprit. But that's definitely not what I'm thinking of. That's right. The season was advanced when I first put the play into Mr. Harris's hands. It was at that time the least double the length of any acting comedy. I profited by his judgment and experience in the curtailing of it. Curtailing is cutting. I presume. Till I believe his feeling of the vanity of a young author got the better of his desire for correctness, and he left many excrescences remaining. Maybe it's a latter word for excrements. Okay, whatever. Because he had assisted in pruning so many more. I like that word. Pruning. Prune. Hence, though I was not uninformed that the acts were still too long, I flatter myself that after the first trial, I might with safer judgment proceed to remove what should appear to have been most dissatisfactory. Okay. Sorry. Many other errors were there, which might in part have arisen from my being by no means conversant with plays in general, either in reading or at the theater. Yet I own that, in one respect, I did not regret my ignorance, for as my first wish in attempting a play was to avoid every appearance of plagiarism. Okay. So he didn't want to get cancelled. Okay. For plagiarism. Okay, great. I thought I should stand a better chance of effecting this from being in a walk which had not frequented, and where, consequently, the process of invention was less likely to be interrupted by starts of recollection. For on subjects on which the mind has been much informed, invention is slow at exerting itself. Okay, I'm just over there, and I need to be here, and it just a bit muddles my brain. For on subjects on which the mind has been much informed, invention is slow at exerting itself. Faded ideas float in the fancy like half-forgotten dreams, and the imagination in its fullest enjoyments becomes suspicions. Oh, Господи! Мой мозг! Okay. And the imagination in its fullest enjoyments becomes suspicious of its offspring, and doubts whether it was created or adopted. So what he means is the imagination becomes suspiciously new sometimes. Whether it was a bit taken away from some other media. My god, it doesn't stop. Oh my god! 2 more pages! Can I just skip it? Can I just skip it? Now I'm gonna read it. I've already established myself as a book critique. How do you call them? Book critic. A critique. Like book critic. Okay. With regard to some particular passages which on the first night's representation seemed generally disliked, I confess that if I felt any emotion of surprise at the disapprobation, it was not that they were disapproved of, but that I had not before perceived that they deserved it. Okay. Pause. Билл, хватит! Билл! Билл, перестань, пожалуйста! Билл! Билл, иди на место. Серьезно, иди на место. Не смешно. If I felt an emotion, it was not that they were disapproved, but that if... Билл! Билл, хватит! Билл, иди на место! I'm not wrong for calling him out, okay? He does it all the time. I'm trying to get into it. Maybe he means that some of the parts of the play that was hated on were not removed because he didn't feel like they need to be removed. Is that it? He just disregarded everything that the people say, that the public say. I don't know. Okay, you win. As some part of the attack on the peace was begun too early to pass for the sentence of judgment in cursive, which is ever tardy in condemning. It has been suggested to me that much of the disapprobation must have arisen from the virulence of malice, whatever that means, rather than severity of criticism. Okay, what is virulence? What the fuck is virulence? I don't know. A name from the name of a girl from East Coast, I guess. Virulence. Вирулентность. Охуеть. Я так много понял сейчас, что это значит. Virulence of malice. Ядовитость злобы. Right. Right. Couldn't have said it better myself. But as I was more apprehensive of there being just grounds to excite the latter, the conscious of having deserved the former, his severance of malice is the latter, severity of criticism is the former. No, the other way around. Former is virulence of malice. Now, it's virulence rather than severity. Virulence rather than severity. But it comes first. Virulence comes first. So, but as I was more apprehensive of there being just grounds to excite the virulence of malice, then conscious of having deserved the severity of criticism, I continue not to believe that probable. Fuck. Which I am sure must have been unprovoked. So I guess you think that when someone said to him that people just didn't like it because they are angry and they just don't know what they're talking about. He said that well, even if that is what's happening, I'm not believing it. I'm just gonna stick to my version of how things work. Okay. However, if it was so, and I could even mark the quarter from whence it came, it would be ungenerous to retort. Okay, I'm now speaking British. Oh gosh! For no passion suffers more than malice from disappointment. For my own part, I see no reason why the author of a play should not regard a first nice audience as a candid and judicious friend attending in behalf of the public at his left rehearsal. What did I even read right now? Ah! It's been an hour! It's been a fucking hour! Ah! But no, we're going through it together. You're here with me now. You're not coming out. You're not going out nowhere. No. You're going with me. You're in the torture with me. Okay, so let's take that back. So, however, if it was so, and I could even mark the quarter from whence it came, so even if I could point it out, it would be not really a good idea to point it out. For no passion suffers more than malice from disappointment. Meaning, that nothing hurts you more than the unwanted hate towards your piece, towards something you're proud of. That's what I'm getting. For my own part, I see no reason why the author of a play should not regard the first night's audience as a candid and judicious friend attending in behalf of the public at his last rehearsal. That I understand. If he can dispense with flattery, so if he can disappear in flattery, I guess. So, purple for that word. If he can dispense in flattery, he is sure at least of sincerity, and even though the invitation be rude, he may rely upon the justness of the comment. So, if he can take flattery, he can also take critique. That's what he says. Ow, my leg, ow, my leg. Ow! 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 My leg! My leg! My leg! Ow! Okay. It's just my skin rubbed on this. What is it? Plastic? On this plastic chair. And it wasn't really the best experience today. Okay. Consider in this light that audience whose fiat. Fuck! Fiat! Fiat. Take your fiat and shall right up your lower back. Fiat. Okay, so fiat is a formal authorization or proposition, a decree. Okay. Consider in this slide that audience whose fiat is essential to the point's claim, whose judgment is essential to the poet's claim, whether his object be fame or profit, has surely a right to expect some deference to its opinion. To its difference. I think deference is just the older way of saying difference. From principles of politeness at least, if not from gratitude. So I guess he means just, if you see that something that you don't like people say about your work, just politely nod. Okay, as for the... Oh, Hatfu. Мне уже язык заплетается, хватит. Все. No, not все. We're going further. We're getting to the juice. Oh no. What the fuck do I do now? Sorry. I just spit a little on my screen. Sorry. What's my angle? Paint me like one of French girls. Okay. As for the little puny critics, so minuscule, not really important critics, who scatter their peevish strictures in private circles, meaning who talks shit behind my back. And scribble at every author who has the eminence of being unconnected with them, as they usually spleen-swollen profane idea of increasing their consequence, there will always be found a petulance and illiberality in their remarks. Meaning, no matter how down to earth the author is, there are always some bitches that talk behind their back saying that it's just bad because it's bad. Because it's from that author. Which should place them as far beneath the notice of a gentleman as their original dullness has sunk them from the level of the most unsuccessful author. So, he means that in that area of field, there are lower than the most unsuccessful author. That's what I'm guessing. Okay, next paragraph. find it. It is not without pleasure that I catch at an opportunity of justifying myself from the charge of intending any national reflection of the character in the character of Sir Lucius O'Trigger. If any gentleman oppose the piece from that idea, I thank them sincerely for their opposition. And if the condemnation of this comedy, however misconceived the provocation (parentheses), could have added one spark to the decaying flame of national attachment to the country supposed to be reflected on, I should have been happy in its fate, and might with truth have boasted that it had done more real service in its failure than the successful morality of 1,000 stage novels will ever effect. Meaning? Okay, I need to read that again. So what he means that any familiarity with the real characters, with the real people, are purely consequential. So don't take it to heart. But if you do, thank you for the boosting my play, I guess. Thank you for talking about it and spreading it to the mass. It is usual, I believe, to thank the performers in a new play for the exertion of their several abilities, but where, as in this instance, their merit has been so striking and uncontroverted as to call for the warmest and truest applause from a number of judicious audiences, the pause after praise comes like the feeble acclamation of a child to close the shouts of a multitude. Sorry. The conduct, however, of the principals in a theater cannot be so apparent to the public. Meaning, not everyone understands theater. So you shouldn't care about that. You shouldn't care about whether people understand your way of portraying the characters. Why am I talking in his behalf? I don't know that guy. Okay, I finish and then I say what I actually had on my mind. What I've had. The conduct, however, of the principals in a theater cannot be apparent to public. I think it therefore by justice to declare that for this theater, the only one I can speak of from experience, those writers who wish to try the dramatic line will meet with that candor and liberal attention which are generally allowed to be better calculated to lead genius into excellence than either the precepts of judgment or the guidance of experience. Meaning that whoever author it concerns that just starts in this field and tries themselves in the theater, be prepared for the critique, because it can lead toward the greater good for you, specifically because you have critique and you know what people don't like. Okay, what people like. So, what I actually was thinking right now is the more I read, the more I read, the more I understood. The more I understood, the more I started to take some words from that vocabulary, using them for myself, which is actually really great. I didn't know that would be the case, but I'm glad. This way I love English. This way I love literature. Okay. And the author. A signature. Okay. Dramatis Personae. As originally acted at Covent Garden Theatre in 1775. Need to bookmark that. Imp. important. Sir Anthony Absolute, Captain Absolute, Falkland, Acres, Sir Lucius Otriga, Fag. Maybe you can't say that. Babes, you can't say that. You can't say that. Actually, you can't say that. Cool. Okay, so whenever there is this name, I'm gonna call them John. Okay? Because I don't want any sensitive bullshit in my comments. So I'll have. Then there's John, David, Thomas. In Espanol, it's Thomas. But it's Thomas. Or Tom. Let me say the full thing. Mrs. Lara Prop, Lydia Languish, Julia, Lucy, maid, boy servants, etc. Okay, finally, we got to the juice. Scene, bath. Time of action, 5 hours. Prologue by the author. Enter surgeon at law and attorney following and given a paper. Okay. What we're gonna do is, I don't know what we're gonna do with this. It's a play, so it's gonna be hard. Okay. I'm just gonna say their names before saying what they say. Their lines. Sergeant. What's here? A vile cramp hand. I cannot see without my spectacles. Attorney. He means his fee. Nay, Mr. Sergeant, good sir, try again. Gives money. Sergeant. The scroll improves. More. Oh, come, 'tis pretty plain. Hey, how's this? Dibble. Sure it cannot be. A poet's brief, a poet and a fee. Attorney. Yes, sir. Though you without reward, I know, will gladly plead the muse's cause. Surgeon. So. Attorney. And if the fee offends, your wrath shall fall on me. Sergeant. Dear Dibble, no offense at all. Attorney. Some sons of Phoebus in the course we meet. Sergeant. And 50 sons of Phoebus in the fleet. Attorney. Nor pleased we horse, who with a decent sprig and base adorns his legal waist of wig. Like hair. I guess. Sergeant. Full bottomed here thus, when sinks unfurl. A leaf of laurel in a grove of curl. Yet tell your client that in adverse days, this wick is warmer than a bush of bays. Are you sure? Ugh! I don't get that. I'm sorry. I don't get that. Attorney. Do you then, sir, my client's place supply, profuse of robe and prodigal of tie, do you with all those blushing powers of face, and wonted bashful of hesitating grace, rise in the court and flourish in the case? Exit. Sergeant. For practice then suppose this brief will show it. Me, Sergeant Woodward, consult for the poet. Used to the ground, I know it is hard to deal with this record from whence there's no appeal. No tricking here to blunt the edge of law, or damn inequity escape by flaw. By judgment giving, your sentence must remain. No writ of error lives to Drury Lane. Yet we so kind you seem, 'tis past dispute. We give some favor, if not costs of suit. What the fuck is suit? What do you mean by suit? Okay, whatever. No spleeness here, I see no hurted fury. I think I never faced a mild jury. Set as our plight, where frowns the transportations. Wait. What already? Wait. Okay, that's it. We ended on plight. Thank you, bye.